Hi, you all. Happy last Monday before break. This week, we're going to be working on root words. So you have three words: competition, competitive, and competitor. All of them have the same root word. So if you look at them, they all start with C-O-M-P-E-T, C-O-M-P-E-T, C-O-M-P-E-T. But compet isn't a word. So you might be thinking, what is the root word? When you add endings to a word, sometimes you have to slightly change the word in order to add the ending. So the root word is actually compete. So competition, competitive, and competitor are all variations of the word compete. So you have creative, creator, and creation. Figure out what that root word is. Unicycle, bicycle, and tricycle. Figure out what that root word is. Remember, root words can have prefixes like unicycle or bicycle or tricycle. So they could have something added to the beginning of the root word, or they can have endings or suffixes like what we saw with competition, competitive, and competitor. Once again, you have synonyms and antonyms. So ideal and perfect, easy, simple, effort, work, weak, sturdy, admire, criticize. If it's a synonym, put an S or write synonym. That means that they're the same or nearly the same. And if it's an antonym, write A or antonym, and that means that they are opposites. If you're not sure about what the word means, remember, you can go to tools and dictionary, and then you can type the word in the search. You are going to be reading a paragraph, and within the paragraph, you have the word relatives and ignored. And you are going to use context clues from the paragraph to figure out the meaning of those words, and then just type the letter in the box. For Multiplication Monday, you're looking at this array. Remember, you can look at the number of columns and the number in a column. You can look at the number of rows and the number in a row. You can also look at the length and the width and multiply those together. Remember, you're doing two multiplication facts, so you should have all the same numbers. So your first fact should have the same numbers as your second fact. The factors should just be switched. True or false? What is 3 times 4? What is 2 times 6? If they are the same, if they are equal, then this is true. If 3 times 4 is different than 2 times 6, then they are false. Then this equation is false. Mrs. Smith made 2 pans of pumpkin cupcakes. There are 8 cupcakes in each pan. How many pumpkin cupcakes does she have? So you are going to multiply those two numbers together to get the product. This week we are listening to one of my favorite stories of all time, and it is called The Carpenter's Gift. So you're going to listen to The Carpenter's Gift, and you're going to make something called a text-to-self connection. So you're going to think about things that happen in the story, and if there's any connection to your life. So maybe somebody was generous to your family, and that could be the connection you have. Maybe you were the generous one and you helped another family. Or maybe you've given somebody something that was important to you. Or you really enjoy Christmas trees. Or your house gets really cold sometimes. Any kind of connection to the book is a self to text or text to self connection. And you're just going to delete these 3 dots and complete the sentence. So at the very beginning of the year, we worked a little bit with inferences, and it's been a while. So inferences are your schema, which is what you already know in your head, plus clues from the author, so things that you read in the story. When you put those together, you make an inference. So the question is, what can we infer about how Henry's family felt when the workers showed up on Christmas? How do you know? So we are looking for a feeling. I infer Henry's family felt What feeling do you think they felt in that moment? And how do you know they felt that way? So what we're hoping to see is I infer Henry's family felt, and then whatever feeling, because, and then tell me why you think they felt that way. Now, you can make inferences based on words. You can also make inferences based on illustrations and pictures. So this story has some very descriptive illustrations, meaning they're just very detailed and you can gain a lot of knowledge just by looking at the images. So you're going to watch this short video and it's just showing how the illustrator created the images, and it talks a little bit about the images and you can see them a little bit closer. And I want you to make 2 inferences based on the images that you saw. It doesn't have to necessarily be from this video. It could also be from slide 5, the book itself. Pay attention to the shack that he lives in at the beginning. I'd look around and pay really close attention to all the details in those illustrations. Also pay attention to characters' facial expressions, especially the parents, and maybe the workers as well. But there's lots of material there. So just make 2 inferences based on the pictures. Any information you gain from an illustration is an inference because the author's not telling you, unless there's a caption, the author's not telling you what's happening in the pictures. You are making inferences. You just may not realize it. Okay, and then the last thing that you're going to do based on the book is you're going to do an inference based on putting clues from the text together with your own schema. So I've written down some clues from the text. They're all about Henry. Therefore, your inference should be about Henry. He helps cut down trees. He becomes a skilled carpenter. He helps his dad. He doesn't complain. Henry gives his hammer to the girl. These are all different clues from the text. You do not have to focus on all of them. Pick one and see if you can relate to that clue. Have you ever cut down a tree? Do you know how difficult that is? Do you know anyone who's a skilled carpenter? That is a very difficult trade. Have you ever helped your parent in any way? Do you complain? Is it difficult to not complain? What kind of personality does it take to be somebody who doesn't complain? Have you ever given somebody something that means a lot to you? Is that an easy thing to do? So whatever connection you have to one of these clues is going to be your schema. Then you can make an inference about Henry. So, for example, I think Henry is blank, whatever character trait you think he possesses, because I've cut down a tree and I know how difficult that is, or I know how scary that can be, or I know how long that takes. So you can make really good inferences if you have schema on one of the clues, which is why I put so many different clues, because everyone's schema is different. So figure out which clue you have the most schema for, and then you can write down your schema, what's happened in your life or what you know about that, and then make your inference. The last thing you're going to do for reading is you're going to read about the Rockefeller Center tree. So you may have to zoom a little bit. I tried to make it really big, but there's a paragraph here about the Rockefeller tree. And then something that I think is even more important than the Rockefeller tree is what happens to the Rockefeller tree after the holidays. So if you click on this Christmas tree, it'll take you to a Habitat for Humanities page where it tells you what happens to the Rockefeller tree after the holidays and what it becomes for a special family in need. So go ahead and look at that after you read the paragraph. Then choose one thing you learned about the Rockefeller tree. It could be from this paragraph. It could be from the website that you go visit for Habitat for Humanity. Just write down one thing you learned about the Rockefeller tree here where it says answer. And that is everything you have for reading this week. And if I don't see you all before the end of the week, I hope you have a great holiday and a wonderful break. So we will see you back in January. Bye.